In the context of Australian Jewish life, the Elwood Talmud Torah congregation has a long and pivotal history. Indeed, the history of the Elwood Shule and its congregants is a microcosm of the broader history of Jews who came to Australia before and after World War II.
Automatically, what does a Jew do when he comes to a new place? He looks for a synagogue.
Well, I was in all the camps, you name it, I was there. And how I survived, don't ask me because I don't know. We were liberated in Austria 1945. To be honest to you, I never ever would believe that I could go after liberation, how you go in a shul. Never.
We have seen and done much as a community in these 75 years. We have celebrated many happy communal events, among them the end of World War II, the establishment of the modern state of Israel and the reunification of Jerusalem. And on a personal level, we have touched the lives of thousands of Jews in Melbourne as we celebrated brisim, naming of daughters and granddaughters, bar and bat mitzvahs, and hundreds, if not thousands, of weddings. The Elwood Talmud Torah congregation began in 1933 as a small private minyan held in the home of Joseph and Gittel Fisher, Eva Beeson's and John Gendel's grandparents. The founding fathers of the Elwood Shule came from small villages and towns in Eastern Europe. From private homes to rented premises at 40 Mitford Street in 1938, to 26 Avoca Avenue in 1942, and finally renting and then purchasing the premises at 39 Dickens Street in February 1948. The Elwood Minyan was always housed in the immediate district, not more than 3 or 4 blocks apart. Talk about the Städtlach of Eastern Europe.
We were interned during the war in the Shanghai ghetto in Shanghai. And my father, during the war, was a cantor with a large choir of 24 wonderful singers. In 1946, we arrived in Melbourne, and we were introduced to come to the Elwood Shule on Avoca Avenue. They asked him to be the regular chazan for the synagogue.
The Elwood Talmud Torah congregation grew together with Melbourne's Jewish community as a result of the post-Holocaust migration in the late 40s and early 50s. Its European flavour was the difference between this congregation and its nearest neighbour, the St Kilda Hebrew congregation, which served the established Anglo-Jewish community. Jewish life in Europe was about to end, but in faraway Australia, the process of building for its renewal was already in train. In building Melbourne's Elwood Kehillah, the founders were agents of divine providence. They ensured that the remnants who escaped would have a home to come to, with the facilities of traditional Jewish life in a strange land.
We had already children, and we knew that we're bringing up the children, and we want to bring them up in Yiddishkeit. And to be bring up in Yiddishkeit, I have to first join the shul. So I joined the shul only because not so much of me, but for my children, and that was very, very important.
In 1946, Rabbi Dr. Harry Friedman was engaged as principal of the Talmud Torah and spiritual leader of the congregation. His strong Zionist leanings made him particularly appropriate for the Elwood congregation. December 1950 saw his resignation, which was accepted with regret. In March 1951, it was suggested that Rabbi Chaim Gutnik of Sydney be approached to fill a position of religious instructor and youth leader. He finally arrived 7 years later. Many communal matters take time.
When he arrived from Sydney, He was a handsome, clean-shaven young man. That's how we got used to him. But then when his eldest daughter married Rabbi Feldman in the United States, Chaim came back and he was telling me that the Lubavitcher rabbi said to him, I've got a problem, I'm not sure who is the chosen and who is the father of the bride, because of course Rabbi Feldman already had a long beard. And from then on he started to grow a beard.
Rabbi Chaim Gutnik served our congregation and the community at large for 46 years. An elderly observer once remarked that in his time there were three great Jewish orators, Zev Jabotinsky, Rabbi Israel Meir Lau, and Rabbi Chaim Gutnik.
I decided then and there that I was going to devote my life to what is called the survivors. When the call came from a congregation here in Melbourne, who most of his members were survivors, I decided to throw everything overboard and to give my life and service to them.
After davening, he would go into his office and sit down for a little while. And once I came in and asked him, "Are you all right, Rabbi?" And he said to me, "I didn't want to embarrass myself, nor embarrass others who are driving to shul."
The passing of Abe Sikri, the third president, on August 4, 1952, was a serious blow to the congregation. The Elwood Shule is named in his honor. May 4, 1954, the government gave a permit for Moriah College to be established as a Jewish day school on the Elwood Shule premises. For the Yomim Narayim, 1958, Hazan Avraham Adler was appointed as Hazan. While at Elwood, he would become Melbourne's most popular post-war Hazan. Together with Rabbi Chaim Gutnik, they were Melbourne's most sought-after duo of religious functionaries, whether for smachot or seder commemorative occasions. In April 1959, Mr. Joseph Scharf Dauber was appointed as secretary, a position he would hold for 42 years.
And his computer was in his brain, and he ran the shul from his brain. He knew every member, he knew all their financial status, and he knew when he could collect money. He was amazing, and it all came out of his head.
The 60s was dominated by the Six-Day War and its impact. Rabbi Gutnik played a key role in raising the spirit of the whole community, and especially Holocaust survivors who feared that they had seen it all before. For Melbourne in June 1967, Rabbi Chaim Gutnik was the man of the hour. The 70s was marked as a time to rebuild. A crucial meeting took place on November 4, 1970. Mr. Sam Gandel stressed the need to build a new synagogue as more seating was badly needed. 12 months later, in November 1971, it was agreed to go ahead. At the AGM in 1972, Samuel Gandel was made honorary live president. Early in 1978, Rabbi Avigdor Aaron took over as Baal Koreh, a position he still holds to this day, extending the long involvement of the Aaron family in the congregation. He makes mishaberachs for the sick, following up such members, and keeping in contact with all, especially the elderly, even after they have left the Kehillah. There were 11 presidents of the Elwood Talmud Torah congregation from 1941 to 1970, a period close to 30 years. For the next 38 years, from 1970 until now, there have been but 3 presidents, Mottel Roth, Shmuel Rosenkrantz and Fred Antman. What does that say? Who wants to be a president of a synagogue in Melbourne? But without them, the affairs of running a shul would indeed run wild. The current chapter of Elwood's history has seen new life for the old school buildings, with Yesterday HaTorah leasing the premises and currently has over 140 students. the retirement of Joseph Scharf as secretary, the passing of Hazan Levi, the appointment of Rabbi Mordechai Gutnik, Rabbi Chaim Gutnik's eldest son, in October 2002. Australian Jewish history was made when a father inducted a son to his pulpit. The passing of Rabbi Chaim Gutnik on Shabbos, October 25th, 2003.
All of his life, he brought comfort, and this was perhaps his greatest mission. He brought comfort for those who indeed had reason to shed tears, but he took those tears and he injected into them faith for the future, hope for the future.
Today, the shul has been fully refurbished through the generous assistance of Les and Eva Ergi. Rabbi Shmuel Karnofsky and his wife Rivka have been appointed as outreach workers to assist with much-needed outreach across the Elwood district. In one way or another, Elwood Talmud Torah has touched the lives of virtually every member of the Melbourne Jewish community over the past 75 years. It has stood as a cultural and religious haven for generation after generation, and will remain a warm, inviting home for Yiddisher generations to come.